Hello everyone. Today we are diving into another important TKT topic, consulting reference resources to help in lesson preparations from Module 2, Part 2 of the TKT coursebook. In this video lesson, we will learn how reference resources can help teachers prepare effective lessons. We will explore different types of resources and discover how to use them to plan lessons with greater confidence. So let's begin. Before we start, let's first understand what reference resources are. Reference resources are all the sources of information about language and teaching that teachers can consult when preparing their lessons. They help us check information, clarify doubts, and make our lesson plan more accurate and effective. These resources include reference material such as dictionary, grammar books, and books and articles in Teachers Magazine that explain different aspects of language and teaching. They also include supplementary materials that come with coursebooks such as phonemic charts, grammar summaries, or lists of irregular verbs. Another valuable reference resource is websites on the internet, where teachers can find lesson ideas, teaching tips, language explanations, and classroom activity. Finally, people can also be excellent reference resources. For example, you can consult your head of department and experienced colleagues who teach foreign languages or other subjects. By using these different resources, teachers can prepare lessons with greater confidence, accuracy, and effectiveness. To use reference resources effectively, teachers need to know where to find the information they need and how to find it quickly and efficiently. There are many different sources of information available to teachers, including books, websites, and professional resources. However, not all resources provide the same level of accuracy or usefulness. Therefore, it is important for teachers to develop the ability to compare different reference resources and evaluate their quality. This helps us choose reliable and relevant information that can support our lesson preparation and improve our teaching practice. As you can see on the slide, there are several reasons why teachers use reference resources. In this lesson, we will look at each reason step by step. Grammar books can help teachers check the form and use of grammatical structures when they are planning their lessons. They provide explanations, examples, and sometimes practice activities that can support both teachers and learners. There are different types of grammar books available. Some grammar books are written mainly for teachers and provide detailed explanation. For example, Grammar for English Language Teachers by Martin Parrott, which is specifically written for teachers, not only explains grammar, but also discusses common problems learners have and suggests ways teachers can present grammar in the classroom. Other books are designed for learners and use simpler explanations. For example, English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy explains grammar clearly and includes practice exercises that teachers can also use when preparing lessons. The most useful grammar books are usually easy to consult because they have clear organizations, a detailed index, or a table of contents. This helps teachers find accurate information quickly and use it effectively in lesson preparation. Some modern grammar books are also based on large collections of real spoken and written language, known as corpora. These resources show how people actually use English in real-life situations, helping teachers provide more accurate examples for their learners. For example, Longman's spoken and written English corpora-based grammar book compares grammar across conversation, fiction, academic writings, and news. Therefore, teachers need to choose grammar books carefully depending on their purpose, whether they need detailed explanations for themselves or similar explanation that learner can understand. And dictionaries are important tools for checking spelling, pronunciation, and the correct use of words. Advanced learning dictionaries are especially useful for teachers to use themselves because they give meanings, example sentences, and pronunciations. These dictionaries are now often available electronically on CD-ROM or online on publisher's website. We can click on a speaker icon to hear pronunciation or use such function to find related works. Bilingual dictionaries, where the word and its meaning are in two different languages, are very useful when learners need a quick translation of a word they don't know in English. For example, a Myanmar learner might look up the word forest and see the translation Tito. However, bilingual dictionaries usually give limited information about how to use the word in English. They may not show collocations or grammar patterns sometimes. So, after finding the translation, it is a good idea for learners to check the word again in a monolingual English dictionary. Monolingual dictionaries give the meaning in English only. When a learner looks up forest in a monolingual dictionary, they might read an explanation as well as its usage and example. This helps them understand not just the meaning but also typical usage in context. Like learner grammar books, learner dictionaries also help teachers choose the best way to find words and provide useful examples for their students. Because languages change over time and English is used worldwide, new editions of dictionaries appear frequently to reflect new words and new ways of using language. Modern monolingual learner dictionaries include many useful features. They often show collocations such as heavy rain, make a decision, or do homework. They highlight synonyms like big, large, enormous, and antonyms such as polite and rude. Many dictionaries also give information about frequency, noting which words are common and which are more formal or rare. And they warn learners about typical errors. For example, confusing say and tell or using advices instead of advice. There is also a wide range of special dictionaries. For example, collocation dictionary, dictionary of idioms and phrasal verbs, pronouncing dictionary, dictionary of cultures, dictionaries of common errors, synonyms, picture dictionaries for young learners, and dictionaries of different curriculum subjects. Teachers can choose from these different types of dictionaries to support learners' spelling, pronunciation, and accurate lexical use, and to encourage learners to become more independent when working with new vocabulary. The next reason for using reference resources is developing your own understanding language. Teachers don't only teach language, we ourselves are also language learners. To teach effectively, we need to constantly develop our own understanding of how language works. This is often called language awareness. There are many books designed for teachers that help us increase this language awareness and our awareness of how to teach language. These books usually don't just explain rules, they include tasks that we can do on our own or with a colleagues. For example, a book might ask us to underline all the past tense forms in a short test and notice which ones are regular and which are irregular, or compare how we would explain the difference between will and going to two different levels of learners. After we complete the task, the book often gives detailed explanations and comments. These explanations help us see patterns and understand why certain forms are used in particular contexts. Many books also include answer keys so we can check whether our analysis is accurate. By regularly doing these kind of tasks, teachers become more confident in noticing grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and discourse features. This greater language awareness makes it easier to plan lessons, respond to learners' questions, and give clearer explanations in class. Good teachers don't only react to errors, they also try to anticipate learners' difficulty before they happen. Reference materials about learner errors can help us predict the kinds of language problems our students are likely to have. Many vocabulary and grammar difficulties are caused by interference from the learner's first language. For example, a Myanmar learner might say, "I drank medicine last night," instead of "I took medicine last night," directly transferring L1 into English. Books and articles describing common errors for specific L1 groups are very useful. They show typical problems such as misuse of articles, confusion between similar verb forms, and false friends in vocabularies. By reading these reference materials and thinking about our learners L1, we can plan activity and explanation that focuses on these likely problem areas. This makes our teaching more efficient and helps learners avoid predictable mistakes. As teachers, we often want to give our learners something different from what is in the coursebook. We may be looking for new approaches to teaching or new classroom activities to make lesson more engaging and better suited to our learners' needs. There is a wide range of supplementary materials we can use in addition to the coursebook. Some focus on grammar, some on vocabulary, and others on particular skills such as reading, writing, listening, or speaking. In addition to books, there are many teachers' resource books full of ideas and ready-to-use material for all kinds of lessons. Nowadays, we also have a growing number of free websites where teachers can find lesson plans, printable worksheets, and ideas for teaching different topics. By exploring these supplementary materials and online resources, teachers can refresh their practice, vary their lesson, and better respond to different learners' levels, interests, and learning style. The next reason is finding out how to use the material in your coursebook. When we use a coursebook, it is important to know not only what is in it, but how to use the material effectively. Teachers' books are written to support us with this. They provide suggestions on how to present activities, how to organize pair and group work, and how to time and sequence the lesson. Many teachers' books also suggest alternative procedures. For example, instead of doing a listening exercise as a whole class activity, the teacher book might recommend a jigsaw listening or extra prediction question to make the task more communicative. These alternatives help us adapt the coursebook to our teaching style and to our learners' need. Teachers' books usually provide supplementary materials such as worksheet, progress tests, and photocopyable sheet. By using the teacher's book, we can make better use of the coursebook, offer appropriate support to different learners, and save preparation time. Another useful source of support for teachers is our colleagues. Colleagues who have taught the same level or used the same teaching materials can often give very practical advice. For example, a colleague might say, "My B1 group found Unit 4 quite difficult, so I added an extra vocabulary game before the reading." Or, "The listening in Lesson 6 was too long, so I split it into 2 parts and checked understanding in between." These suggestions can give us new ideas for how to adapt a lesson or how to use the materials more effectively. Of course, a colleague's approach may not suit our teaching style or our learners exactly. However, listening to colleagues' experience can help us reflect on our own planning. For example, we can ask ourselves questions like, would my learners benefit from more speaking practice here? In this way, getting advice from colleagues becomes part of our ongoing professional development and helps us improve our lessons. We have looked at different reference resources and how they can help us with lesson preparations. Let's apply this to some real classroom situations. On this slide, you can see a list of teaching situations in the left column and a blank resource column on the right. 2 examples have already been completed for you. Your task is to match each remaining situation with an appropriate reference resource. When you have finished, compare your idea with the suggested idea provided in the video descriptions. Hope this task will help you become more confident in choosing the right reference resource for different lesson planning needs. If you found this video helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on TKT. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson.